As I kept climbing the Legends ladder, I realized that there are some weaknesses in my Fireball into Lalo, and I'm just gonna show you guys my attack log. You can see like these are like the breaking points. So it's like first a time fail, and then it's like a 1 star. Sure, I almost got a town hall down, but it's just painful nonetheless. And it's because I realized like while I'm attacking, like okay, the way I'm doing things is not ideal, and so I try to pick up something new, and you can see it does well. And then I realize okay, still some mistakes. I tried continuing with it through today, but same thing happened. Like I ended up 1 starring with some close misses. So I finally shifted to something else that seems fine for the time being, because I literally cannot predict what kind of bases we're gonna get in Legends after like hitting 5700. But at least for the time being, this is what works, and I have shifted to Fireball into Rocket Loons. I have been experimenting with all sorts of different variants of this, but I figured that this is usually this is a pretty good go-to attack for the time being. You'll notice I have 3 earthquakes in this army. This is something I was experimenting with my Fireball Lalo as well. It's because my Royal Champion uses the Rocket Spear and the Seeking Shield as well. And nowadays fireballs sometimes require 2 earthquakes as well. So just going with it. And yeah, that's about it. Other than that, I just want to show you guys some examples of attacks I did today and explain why I feel this might be slightly better than Fireball Lalo, especially in Town Hall 17 meta. Maybe not Town Hall 16, but let's just get into it, and we'll keep it shorter just so I can take some time to explain why I feel this is better. Okay, so here's the base that we've got, and the reason I'm saying it's very unpredictable because you can already see this base doesn't really have major fireball weakness that you would expect, especially considering like people nowadays have those bases where you kind of clump up everything in the center with a rage and invis base. So this is totally not like that. In fact, people are shifting to different root riders to some extent, and the way things are spaced out, it's so annoying. It's not good for. I'm just gonna pause so I can explain what I'm thinking of over here. But you can see like the defense spread is very good, and there's no particular good fireball value, and it can maybe also throw off some RC pathing if Teslas are kept in the right places. Anyways, this is a trick that I started taking on. Like if I'm gonna be using my Royal Champion somewhere near the Town Hall, especially when the Town Hall is on the edge of the base, using a Rage and an Earthquake with her can just take out so much of the base. So just like look at this, right? It's like this entire this entire section and no Town Hall to worry about anymore. So that's already a pretty good start. And one mistake I want to point out that I already made, I should have started my Warden before having started my Royal Champion. That would have saved me about like 10 seconds or so, right? And time fails can be a problem with this attack, so just let's just keep that in mind, and we can carry on with the rest of the attack over here. So early fireball, because I don't see any good value really anywhere on this base, and we can just go on with a warden charge. Now at this point it's the same as Fireball Lalo, kind of just I can judge my warden is going to stick to the bottom of the base. So I need to realize like okay, my heroes, my king and my queen are going to come in from the top over here somewhere. Now the benefit of running Fireball into Lalo is Fireball into Rocket Loon. Sorry, I'm so used to saying Fireball into Lalo, but the benefit of Fireball into Rocket Loons over here you'll see really shortly. You can go in and quickly snipe some defenses, and if you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know that when I do succeed on bases, I usually end up swagging the Lalo, pretty much swagging the Lalo I would say, on at the very end of the base. So now look at this. With a few Rocket Loons and your spare Earthquakes. This is also something I want to mention. Sorry, I'm pausing again, but it's just something I want to mention. Like there's so many tough buildings on the base now that you can actually get some really good value with an Earthquake. For example, I used only 2 Rocket Loons to take out this monolith with the help of the Earthquake. Usually you'd need 3 or even 4 if there's builder huts in the area with the crash damage, but over here it was just 2 Rocket Loons, and I can say 1 to more for the back end. So what more could I possibly want, right? That's just something I wanted to say. So if you don't end up using your Earthquakes on your Fireball and your Royal Champion dive, use them on the heavier buildings because they are pretty much omnipresent throughout the base, and you'll be able to easily destroy everything that is there in your way with the help of them. So just a small tip from my side, I guess. And yeah, if you don't need the earthquake on the royal champion, even better for you. You have two earthquakes to spare on the rest of the base and easily allow your rocket loons to finish up what's even left. So yeah, over here I think I tried to just wall break this wall over here, but didn't work out. I think both the wall breakers died over here, and it almost came down to a time fail. And that's where I'm gonna go back to what I said about the 10 seconds at the start. It would have at least saved me from having a heightened heart rate for these few moments. But yeah, just one small mistake I made at the start that I guess you guys can pick up on and learn from. But that's about it. So I think this is a little bit more flexible, and the fact that there's so many heavy defenses in the middle of the base, you can easily snipe them off as your warden is being inconvenienced by them. So that is one problem I was facing with Fireball into Lalo. I could not snipe annoying defenses just pointing my way and making it very difficult to ward and charge. So now that's one weakness that's removed off of this attack. Yeah, let's just keep going. Nothing like an anti-fireball base once again to talk about when we're trying to showcase fireball into some attack over here, right? Like, this is one of the early bases that was introduced by Blueprint, and you can see the only fireball weaknesses somewhere in the score. I guess like the fire spitter, probably very ideally this invis tower, or maybe even the town hall itself, but very difficult to get there. You can see there's so many heavy defenses all around the map, and that's what I'm saying. Like, every single defense just feels like it's there to just smack you, and you need a rage or some spell to deal with it when it comes to warden charging. So it's a little tricky, but no worries for us. Like, over here I think one more advantage of rocket loons is, well, you just saw it. Like, you can easily go ahead and snipe mortars waiting for you, and when you get a flame flinger down, if you can manage to get a flame flinger down somewhere on the base, then time is not as much of a problem, because it's like you already have two areas of the base being handled at the same time as compared to when you're using a different siege machine. So it's just something I like a lot. If I get a flame flinger somewhere on the base, it's just like amazing. Like, I don't have to worry about time too much. Anyways, you can see the warden is moving up on the base over here, so that's fine. Looks like he's gonna stay over here for a while. But remember, I haven't launched the fireball yet because it's such an anti-fireball base. What do I even do? Anyways, yeah, I'm just kind of like taking my time and like understanding, okay, what it is that I need to do next. And I can start seeing, okay, this is the next, I can see like a good clump of heavy defenses waiting for me on the border over here. And just because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4, 5, 6 heavy defenses if you count like this entire arc, I decided, you know what, I can use my Royal Champion Rage trick again. So if it was just like up to 3 defenses, I would only use the Earthquake. But seeing that there's more than 3 defenses over here that I can grab out with the Rocket Spear, I thought I'm just gonna go ahead and invest the Rage over here. It's totally gonna be worth it. And you can see, guys, like, she goes all the way to the core, handles a single Inferno, and pulls the entire clan castle for me. So what more could I possibly want, right? I'm just gonna pause and mention once again, I haven't launched my fireball yet. So this warden is somehow hanging on for dear life, and I've zoomed out just like this so I can keep tabs on both my queen as well as what my warden is doing. Barely managed to keep my warden alive over there with the help of Invis and a headhunter. And you can see, guys, like, we're just slowly but surely making this base crumble apart. Yeah, it's a very slow process, but we're getting there. Queen just needs to deal with these ground skellies. I think poor guy King is stuck dealing with trash while he's fighting air troops. And anyways, yeah, finally we launched a fireball, as I said, on the fire spitter, because like that's one of the few areas where we actually have good value on the base. But nonetheless, our last few rocket loons we can just sprinkle in on the few threatening areas on this base. And I've just dropped like a few loons minions to take care of those pesky minions that have been troubling me for so long. Nothing much. It's all self-explanatory. And there you have it, like another earthquake that I never used. So that's gonna help us kind of deal damage to all of this. You can see like everything is gonna go down super soon. I can deal with the minion prince independently because the scatter shot is weakened up, so the queen can quickly move on from taking out the scatter shot completely and then going to deal with the minion prince. And there we have it. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Maybe I'll try to reduce the amount I talk for the last attack that I show in this video, but I'm just showing you guys, like, it is a little more convenient, but it can be a little bit more tricky for resource management. Because you end up using your rocket loans while you're attacking, right, to help redirect your warden or snipe some defense in the middle. It can get a little tricky, but if you're used to swagging your Lalo at the end of the attack anyway, which happens if you follow these fundamental tips of warden charging, you should be good to go. Yeah, let's move on to one last attack for you guys. I'm sorry if I'm talking way too fast. Do let me know in the comments if you've reached this point of me talking, and let me know if I've said way too much in too little time. This is also a very recent base that has come into the base building meta. Again, I'm not sure what it really defends against, but I can only assume it's meant to defend Royal Champion charges. And over here, seems like this entire right corner has some good potential for a fireball. The only problem is fire spitters. And if you've been watching my recent fireball Lalo videos, you know that I recommend not to charge into a fire spitter because your healers are going to take damage through your warden and they are going to end up dying, and especially when it's like directly through them, right? There's nothing you can do to snipe the fire spitters because like you're literally like going up to them to get a fireball down. So we do with this trick again where I use the Royal Champion on the edge of the base. Over here you'll notice only an earthquake, no rage. So you can kind of identify depending on how heavy the targets are and how many targets are there in the area. I choose to maybe dedicate a rage or only an earthquake, right? So that's just something you learn after practicing it for a while. And now here's a single inferno. I just paused it so I could talk about that previously, but look at how much of a mess my warden is in right now. He is getting targeted by the monolith. There's 3 ice golems and the single inferno is firing on him. I couldn't have done this exact thing which I just did. I couldn't have done this to save my warden if it was fireball Lalo. But now that I'm using rocket loons, I can snipe these defenses, and there we have it. So that's the fireball we're looking for. We get it right away. Too bad I couldn't launch it before I pulled the clan castle, because we get the clan castle in this one and another time that I'm using this sniping trick. So hopefully I can save my warden from a bit of trouble. And yeah, initially just one rocket loon to just test for traps, and there we have it, guys. Like, he is free from all danger. I saved a bunch of spells. Like, just imagine if this was fireball Lalo, single inferno plus monolith plus 3 ice golems on him. Oh man, that is just trouble. But in any case, now our warden is free for a while, so I'm gonna like shift my focus away from him. I just have to be aware that there is a single inferno up top, but at least for a while I can shift my focus away from him. And this is more or less what my point of view looks like while I'm attacking. And now I can see at the bottom of my screen while I'm attacking that my warden's health is kind of fluctuating a lot, so I need to start paying attention once again. And yeah, just let my king go to auto ability, and hopefully my rocket loons can snipe this one single inferno on the left side as well. Just an invis for my warden, and there we have it. Like, the base is crumbling apart, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, no siege machine has been used just yet. Sadly, I couldn't quote unquote swag my the equivalent of my Lalo portion over here, because as you guys noticed throughout this attack, I needed my rocket loons to keep saving my warden. But the good thing is, if it wasn't for those clutch rocket loons coming in at the right times, I would have not been able to warden charge this entire middle section of the base, which is just pain for my queen to deal with, right? So you know what, like, it's totally worth it. Like, we don't get to swag as many resources, but Town Hall 17, honestly, you need to kind of like push through the base. You can't use like a Lalo anymore, because like these rocket loons are required to get that warden charge value. So it's totally fine. I'm totally fine with this exchange of not being able to swag resources anymore. The fact that I have to use every single thing in my army is okay with me. Sure, there are some bases where we get to swag our Royal Champion sometimes, but I prefer using at the start anyway. And there are bases where we don't need our rocket loons as much. Too bad I couldn't find any of them now, because these are all such tough examples of bases I found. And that's what I'm surprised about, guys. Like, I really thought the meta on defense was just countering those electro boot charges, but doesn't seem to be the case. It seems more centered towards straight up Root Rider defense and to some extent even Fireball. So I don't know what we have in store next, but at least for the time being, I'm going to be sticking to this. And yeah, that's just a bit of an insight over why I shifted to Fireball into Rocket Loans. But yeah, this is what we'll be covering over the channel for the next few days. You can find the hyperlink link in the description as always. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.